All right, what's up? Happy Monday. Welcome back. How's it going, Jennifer?
Good.
Good. I got nothing today. I'm just going to be honest with the
Listeners,
listeners. And
low energy, low everything.
Yeah, it's just one of those days. No big deal. Nothing happened. I'm good. Just, one of those days when you're like, F the world.
Yep. Don't feel like doing anything. Yeah, got that.
So hopefully I don't have to go out and do much today because it would be like I don't know, a day where you got extra irritated, someone cut you off or something like that,
Yeah, gotcha.
Those stupid days. Anyway, we'll do opening takes in a second, but we're going to talk about, I guess, what we're up to in our business.
Yeah, kind of like an accountability buddy. We like to tell you what we're doing to make sure we're actually doing what we say we're doing.
Yeah, true. So anybody that's listened for even a little bit should know that we are big on education. So that's a big chunk of it to start the year because it's generally what we do. And we'll get into it. But opening takes, can I go first?
Please.
All right. So just do the thing. Like right now, I don't want to be recording a podcast, but guess what? I'm still going to do it because we committed to people that listen. And because we haven't missed, this is episode 185, and we haven't missed a week yet. So I feel like, you know what? Keep the streak going. Don't miss a podcast. Plus, it's really cool when I meet somebody or somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, I've been listening to your show. And I'm like, damn, really? That's always gets me every time. And I'm like, that's really cool. So whenever you're having one of those days when you're like, you got a little bit of an attitude and nothing really makes sense because nothing happened bad. Yesterday was a super fun day and today was fine. And maybe it's the weather. It's a little rainy, but
snowed
either way,
and sleeted today.
Yeah. So just do the damn thing. Get it done. You'll feel better in the end. You're up, Jennifer.
Oh, my opening tale will be simple. This morning I had to take the kids to the doctors for their physicals, whatever. And I think sometimes as a mom, you forget, like, even as your kids get older, that they still need you. And it was sweet. Marley just had a moment and I sat with him and realized, like, sometimes it sounds cheesy probably, but like the healing energy of just like giving someone a hug and like letting them know that you're there for them. It's just amazing. So if you're a mom out there or a dad, sometimes just being there for your kids does so much more than you even realize. And sometimes it does a lot for ourselves too. So I guess I'm celebrating my mom joys with my children this morning and how I'm able to make sure they're okay in every situation.
Awesome.
Yeah. Go be a cool mom and dad.
Yeah.
That's hug your kids as much as you can.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
All right. So what are we up to? I'll start so I can be done.
Okay.
Just listening to you talk.
Oh, great.
What are we up to? So a couple things. First, the newsletter. I keep getting great feedback from the newsletter. If you're not on there, sign up. I'll break it down what it looks like. So it's called 321 Pro Push. And it's designed to just push people to think about things differently or maybe to co-sign something. But mostly it's a newsletter where I share things that we encounter, things that relate to business, things that might be helpful in other industries that we could pull into the hair industry, lots of stuff like that. And it's always things that we've tried or done. I would never put out there that we've done something if we hadn't done it. So I start off with 3 business insights. And I try to have sort of like a theme. Last week was hospitality. And let me just pull it up, actually. This would make it easier, huh? So on our podcast last week, we didn't talk about the good hospitality that we had. We talked about all the bad things. Oh, view. Okay, sorry. I don't really use this app that often. So last week's email, we talked about hospitality. So the business insights were first impressions, anticipate client needs, and then exceed expectations, don't just meet them. So we always start off with those 3 sort of insights. And then I talk about it a little bit, and then I always have a try this. So here's something you can think about. Here's something you can try. Here's something that might help. Then I jump into, there's 2 stories or quotes. The quote last week, I can tell you that, was when you ask, why do we do it this way? And the only answer is, because that's how it's always been done. That rule deserves another look.
Love
And that
that.
is by Will Guidara. Gadara? I don't know how to say that, but he wrote Unreasonable Hospitality. And then the story for the week was about the wedding that we attended. So we had talked about all the bad service and stuff, but when we got to the venue, it was great.
Yeah, it was beyond. It was amazing.
So these people, like people said hello to me, staff from the place, like no less than a dozen times in the first 30 minutes that we were there. And then when we sat for dinner, this was the type of place like you get up to go grab a drink or take a kid to the bathroom or whatever, or to go dance, and you come back and your place setting is fixed and your napkin is refolded. And all those little details that I think we could probably use in the hair industry. Like instead of slapping down a cup of coffee or whatever, like bring it with a napkin, bring it with a spoon, make it seem like you care. You know what I mean? It's not the act. Like people aren't coming to you for a cup of coffee. You do hair. A cup of coffee is a bonus, yes. But why not make it nice? Why not make it stand out in their mind? You know? It's just, so I talked a lot about that. And then I always end, so it's 3, 2, 1. So I always end with a question or a challenge. It's basically something to leave anybody that reads with something to think about. So this was last week's question or challenge. If a first-time client walked into your salon today, what would their first impression be? Would they feel truly welcomed or just like another appointment in your book? And maybe that makes people think a little bit. So that's what I've been up to, working on that newsletter, working on blog
How could
posts.
somebody get your newsletter?
Sign up. So there's links everywhere. I can put a link. There's a link in the show notes.
Okay.
For the newsletter. I think it says weekly newsletter. I'd have to look.
Okay. I think we are seeing so often salon ownership, and in any way that you look at that, and it's looking for help and business help, and I don't have any money and I can't afford anything. Something like Todd's newsletter is an amazing way to get a ton of information, and it's free. So if you don't know where to turn, something like that newsletter can give you inspiration, give you insights, give you even mini tasks every week to help your business get better, and it costs you nothing. So a great way to really get some good information, but also get some inspiration for sure.
Yeah, I get good feedback on it. People seem to enjoy it. So I keep putting it out, and I put some time and effort into it each week.
Amazing.
I'm not just sitting down and slapping
free
it
information.
together. So, and like I said, it's stuff that I pull from, I think I've said this on the show before, if not, but it's stuff I pull from when I owned a gym and when I've run restaurants and all sorts of things, because it's all of being of service to people. And I think that when you do that, your business will change. And so I see a lot of, how do you attract people to work at your salon? How do you attract clients? How do you make money? How do you attract renters? I can't find anybody to rent my suites. Like, you have to provide something that other people aren't providing. You have to provide them with what they're looking for. And I don't think it's towels and booking software.
Right.
I think it's having a cool environment. I think it's whatever. Like it's what makes you want to go to a place. You know, it's hard to sort of put it into words, but generally you talk through and figure out with somebody their sort of, you can call them strategic differences, like what sets your business apart, and then just double down on that. I don't know what it would be.
Right.
Maybe we were listening to a guy, a business owner, who was like, I have a DJ at my salon. And I was like, that's cool. That's not going to work for everybody, but that's what works for him. That's what, I don't think that would work for me. I don't want it to be loud and like a club in my salon. But if I was going for a haircut, maybe that would be cool. If I was there for a half an hour, Yeah, so that's the newsletter stuff. I've been working on blog posts for each month, and we're going to be adding some blog posts about our staff shortly here, probably in April. The first one will come out, just to kind of introduce them again to people, to have a little bit of a wider digital footprint on the website. And for clients, potential clients who are looking around, to have a little insight and be like, this person seems cool. I want to sit in their chair. And I think that is a good way to not only showcase the people, but to have something that sort of lives forever. It's forever content when you put it on your website, right? You put a bunch of stuff on social media, but that's gone. People aren't scrolling back through your page. I would say that's probably rare that somebody goes on your page and they scroll back to your first post. What else are we working on? The website, which by working on, I'll use that term very relaxed because I started a list with some ideas, but I haven't got there yet. I do have a phone call today with the company that does our marketing, our digital marketing, website, and all that stuff. So we'll go over that, and I'll see what I need to do, find out what they do on their end, and blah, blah, blah. I think that's all I got.
Okay.
That's what I'm up to.
All right. So at the beginning of the year, I know we always lay out kind of what we're doing, and we talked about this first kind of what I like to do is first half of the year or less, right? Like through the spring, education. So as we come up onto the summer, we can kind of get lax and everybody can take their vacations, but technically we feel like we're going into the second half of the year with our staff progressing.
Like even just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Like the reason that we front load the year with education is because we understand that summer in New England is short lived.
Yeah.
And we really want our staff to enjoy their lives. It's not just about work. So, forecasting, like, all right, we're not going to put a class out in July. Like that just doesn't make sense. And then we know after that, the holidays are coming.
Right.
So by front loading the year, and then we have a big class where we're flying somebody in, that will be in the fall, which you can talk about too.
Which would have been in the front if it could have, but it's just how it worked out.
Right. It would have been preferred, but
yeah,
it is what it is. And that will be cool. That'll be cool to have something to break up your summer heading into, kids back to school and that part of the year.
Yeah. And the other part that we committed to was kind of getting our staff more excited about the stuff we're doing and empowering some of them to help us run some classes and taking their strengths and using them at Hello to help grow our staff. So it's not just always me just talking, or I mean, Todd does some stuff too, but generally I'm the one talking the most or teaching. So we've done so far a blonding class, which we did on mannequins. So it was a demo and hands-on for those that came. And then the next one we had talked about doing a blow dry class because I don't know if we had said it, but a lot of clients don't realize that salons are also like a blow dry bar. We all can blow dry hair. It's just not always marketed for that. So what we decided to do, rather than just be like, we blow dry hair too, was 99% of our staff showed up, and we had it led by 2 of our staff members that work at blow dry bars. And it was fun to take a class in our salon, especially for me, and then showcase why finishing the hair is so important and certain things that are going to make our staff next level when they blow dry hair. And it's not just for blow dries. It would be for finish work on their haircuts, on their colors, on all of that stuff. But taking into consideration of asking people certain questions, which then technically makes our staff better at just client consultation in general. And then, like I said, it was led by 2 of their peers. And that's really amazing too. It was a proud moment for Todd and I to see them step up into that role. And it was really amazing to watch the staff just respect them professionally and be very into this class. There was a demo on a model, and then there was a hands-on portion, and everybody got so excited to do it. And then it was cool to watch the staff over the next day 2 into the last couple of weeks, just taking all the information they gained from the class, and they're just applying it right away. They were so excited to up their game before we really were launching sort of how we're going to broaden our menu in the salon. And that's when you know it was a good class, when they're immediately applying it, and not just once, they're applying it now to every single client that sits in their chair. And to see these clients just getting this really great finish when they leave and how excited they are. And then on top of that, to see the staff sometimes grabbing me or Gianna or Lauren, and they're like, come look at my blow dry. What do you think? Most people will be like, it's just a blow dry, but we're excited about the blow dry. We're excited about the finish work we're doing now. And that was truly the intention of the class. And it just went even further than I could have imagined. So that was very exciting.
It is really cool. And I think that when you just hit the nail on the head when you said, a lot of you probably think it's just a blow dry. That's a bad attitude when it comes to business. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about hospitality being important. If you aren't doing the common things uncommonly well, then you're not going to like, there's no room for you to work on anything advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't even do the basics.
Right.
You know, like if you can't clean your tools, don't worry about how to do the next trendy haircut.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Start where you
But
are.
yeah, if you're thinking it's, you know, well, it's just a blow dry, who cares? Exactly. And
Yeah.
so we try to up our game with everything, even the smallest details.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to take over again.
That's okay. So the next we have coming up actually this week into updo season, I guess, with junior proms, homecomings, proms, weddings, all that stuff. So it is a class I've run every year in March, and Lauren is going to take the lead on this class also. I'm always there to help assist, but we've laid out sort of what that looks like. So she is taking the lead and she will run an updo class. So we are familiar with sort of what's popular coming into this season, and then go over just what we just said, the basics, how to do certain things and make sure you're doing it correctly. So this way, when those people sit in your chair, you might not have done updos for 6 months because whatever the last season was, and just reminding them how to pin certain things, how to pull the hair in certain ways, and just giving them a lot of confidence as this season starts to unroll. And we will work on mannequins or each other and all different hair types. So it'll get all of the staff that wants to do updos ready for the season of formal styling, I'll say. And then from
We have a
there,
meeting this week also that kind of goes in the middle of what you were talking
yeah.
about.
So then the next day we have a meeting to meet with the two, Lauren and Gianna, who headed or led the blow dry styling class. And the goal there is to recap. So whenever we teach a class, it's always what can we do better for the next one, which is first, right? Like, you know, the goods, the bads, and everything. And then we're going to sit down and lay out a menu that will live on our website. But we also would like to have a menu in the salon to let clients understand what we're doing with making this blow dry styling differently than we've done in the 5 years we've been open, things that they can add on to their blow dry styling, different finishes, and just kind of like make it look a little bit more upscale and have some fun with it. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's fun to bring Lauren and Gianna in it because, again, you see all the time, how do I keep staff? How do I keep staff? Well, sometimes it might mean including them in certain things or bringing them on or asking for their goddamn opinion on something. Whether Todd and I take it or not, they're included in this meeting with us because we value their opinion, and we'll decide at the end what that all looks like. You know, we have to, we're the owners, we take on the risk and we're doing all of the things with that, but we want their opinions and we would love their insight. And there's things they're going to see differently than Todd and I do coming from the just being behind the chair. Just they'll look at it differently, and hopefully there's some insights like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. Yes, that would work really great. And then the goal is, you know, Todd will put out coming up, I think, a blog sort of about it, and then we'll roll it out. Hopefully the goal was by April, and I think we're pretty much on target to be doing that. And like I said, to see the staff just engulfing everything they were just taught and already doing it, we're seamlessly going to roll into that, which will be really fun. And then coming into April, there's some one-on-one stuff. Technically, I will start to work with.
So, hold on one second.
Yep.
I think there's a takeaway here for people. So, how big of a deal is a styling class to put together? Not really that big of a deal, right?
No, it was not hard.
In the long run or in the big picture?
Yeah.
And then just like getting your staff excited for something and then just kind of implementing it, which will trickle down to your clients because you're changing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in a lot of times what we see in the hair industry is people that have been doing it the same way. And it goes to that quote, just because it's always been done this way is not a good like attitude to have. So this wasn't anything that was crazy expensive. We brought in some new tools and new gear for people to use to make lives easier, which excites your staff.
Yep.
So you have opportunities with your business to excite people, and that is what builds your culture. It's not you just saying like I'm high-end luxury, which is like 99% of salons are like I'm high-end luxury. Well, why? Just because you said so?
Right.
You know, like just because you have champagne glasses, that doesn't make you luxury. So just it's really easy to like do things and keep staff excited and
even if it's just a blow dry.
Right. It's a little thing. And I mean, it all adds up because we don't just do this once a year. We are constantly working through the year to make our business better, but that's the role you take on as a business owner. So it should be there. But if you can get your staff excited and they are then in turn getting their clients excited, then
win-win.
Win. Yeah, just a huge win for your business. And you get to sit back and celebrate and appreciate other people. So that's another thing that is important to point out. Like, put people in positions. It's when you hire somebody, you shouldn't be just hiring somebody to stand behind a chair for the rest of their lives. Like, some of these people want to teach or educate. I know some of our staff has a background in education. Like, we can leverage that in different ways. Maybe it's teaching the public through, maybe you have someone on your staff that is comfortable in front of the camera. Well, get their ass on YouTube, giving information for free. What does that cost you? I don't know. Maybe you break it down with them, you pay them $100 a week or something like that. Might be a way for people to make money. It builds your culture, and it's easy to do. It's not always perfect. It's not easy like that. Like, not everything that you do is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to sit down and put together a list of things and be like, I don't like doing these things, which is another common thing you hear. Like, business owners are like, I don't like doing this. Well, pay somebody to do it.
Right.
Pay someone in your business to do it if you can. That's even better. You're providing them more opportunities.
Right.
So I just think that was cool. So, and then, like I said, we get to celebrate that. So we get to sit back as owners and look at Gianna and Lauren, who just, killed it on their first class, and it's just, you have a single tear roll down your cheek. You're like
So
proud of people,
Wicked.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to stand up in front of a group. And now I know everyone works together day to day, so it's a little different, but they did great, and we're just proud of that. So now you have that in your business. Like, that's how you build a culture.
And that also shows to the other staff, that there's always opportunity at Hello. And it's not just to raise your prices and grow your clientele. Like, if you want to teach, or there's some things that you think would be a good offering to the staff, we're open to creating that course. I think Lauren, Gianna, and I met 2 to 3 times to create the course. And then I just said, I think we're at a point where we have to just do the course, and then we'll get better at it every time. Like, at some point, you just have to go and do it.
Minimal viable product.
What's that?
Minimal viable product.
Yeah. So
put it out.
There we were.
And fix it. And there's other stuff too. So teaching is a big one, because in the hair industry, everybody is high-end luxury who does lots of education. Lived in blondes. So I'm just picking on you.
Yeah.
So what about cleaning? You can offload that to somebody on your staff.
Yep.
We've done that. So we had a company. We just weren't impressed with the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found out that somebody likes to clean who's on our staff, and was like, you know what? Would you want to do? We'd rather pay you to do it than pay
Some
someone
extra
outside.
money for her. And
maybe there's somebody that's a writer, and you're like, I wish I could start a blog, but I don't want to write. Well, talk to your team. Maybe you have somebody that likes to write. Maybe you have somebody that loves making content, and you can create a position where they're making content. I know social media managers and whatever, but if you do that stuff in-house and you sort of vertically integrate it, then it shows people a path to making more money, and not just work at your salon and then pick up shifts at a restaurant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can hopefully get people out of that, unless that's what you like doing. Like, I know some people really enjoy waiting tables. Like, go for it. I did when I waited tables. I loved it. So go for it. All right.
You want me to finish?
Back to you. Yeah, sorry.
So
no, it's just all good information.
Yeah.
So I hope people are taking something out of it, I guess, is my point.
So the next thing we have coming up, April's around the corner. Gianna and I, and this one we will co-lead this class on hair extensions, which this is the second class we'll have taught in our salon. The first one, again, we laid out a plan. We now know where we fell short. We now know how we can create a better class, and also help grow the stylist and give them kind of different parameters. So I'm more looking forward to this extension class, because there's some things that we've changed to really get people to be working on real clients as soon as possible, and just certain ways of making sure they're doing the work and they're practicing enough before that gets checked off. And that was just a flaw that we had in the first class. So I'm pretty sure the people that took the first class are taking this one to just kind of reinvigorate what they're doing and try to grow that side of their business. But this will be fun for Gianna and I, and I'm really excited that we were able to take that first class and make it even better. So I'm really proud of the product we've come to for this class coming up. And the way I do that, so I think, you younger stylists listening, I feel like you come out of school and you've learned a little bit of everything. So we get people that come into Hello and they're like, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to learn this. I'm like, okay, you need to learn how to do basic hair stuff first, and you need to learn how to do it very well before I'm going to add to that toolkit. So the two people that I invited to this class wanted to do it last year, but needed to work on some other skill set of regular hair and doing it really well, which they did. And so they were invited for this class. So it is not something that I open up for everybody because it depends on where they are in their career and where they are technically. So these two are currently, to me, ready for a new skill set, and they're very excited. And I think there's also something to be said with the staff's like, okay, I know what I need to work on to get there. And I don't want a lot of people just doing a bunch of random things and not doing them well. And then from there, it's going to go into some one-on-one stuff. Todd and I sit down with the staff at the beginning of the year. Some of them are in line to get a price increase, which will come sometime this spring. So some of them have a little bit of technical work to do, a little going up, leading up to that. So that'll be the one-on-ones. I will work with some of them on anything from haircutting to consultation to blonding, anything like that. And then my apprentice we'll start haircutting this week, actually, and we've finished kind of our highlighting life and blow dry. So she will start working on real people for models for that as we now go into mannequins for haircutting. And
How many hours?
go
Do you
ahead.
know how many hours it is? Because she's not allowed to do. She's not allowed to interact really with clients much in the first so many hours,
The
right?
first
In New Hampshire,
450, which she has passed last
450.
month.
Yeah.
So she now, if I'm in the building, she can do everything as long as I say it's okay.
And then for people listening, because I've seen this actually a couple times that people were asking why there aren't more apprenticeships across the United States. And I think it's interesting because some people were like, I could teach people better one-on-one, because in a school environment, like I went to a school, but I chose a school that there was like 8 to 12 of us at any one
Right.
time. Like, so it was very small. You just learn better. And I'm not knocking schools that have 200 kids in their class. It is what it is. Good for you. Great business.
Mm-hmm.
But where was I going with that? I just based it.
Well, the one-on-one, why more states don't have apprenticeships.
Oh, people were asking about apprenticeships, and some people were sounding off in the comments saying like our state doesn't allow it, and some people were like confused about what an apprenticeship was because they think you come out of school and you're an
Right.
apprentice, but you're already licensed at that point as a stylist.
Yes. When we talk apprenticeship, I have an instructor's license, and Madison, her school is Hello Hair Co. And we have
Yeah.
to do certain things every month with the state to stay in compliance with the apprenticeship
She's got to
until,
do her quizzes and all that
yep,
stuff.
and her
Yeah,
hours
all
and
the
all that.
paperwork.
Yeah. I come up with the curriculum. It's nothing to do with the state. The curriculum is all mine with the individual, and it shifts to each individual and their needs. Some people can work faster, some people need slower, and all kinds of things that I'm able to shift. And in New Hampshire, it's 3,000 hours until Madison will be able to sit for her test. Like you just asked, 450 hours before she's even allowed to touch anybody. And then at 1,500 hours, depending on how I feel she's ready, then she could work on clients or models without me in the building. But currently, if I'm not in there, she cannot work on people.
She can't do much.
Yeah.
She can grab us coffees.
She can
No,
work
I'm
on
just kidding.
mannequins. So
Yeah. Oh, there's always plenty for
there's
her to
lots for
do.
her to do. And just even at this point, she's a quick learner. So her watching people do stuff, then when I'm in there, we could either get a model for it, or that same day she could practice that on a mannequin. So she can take what she's seeing visually and apply it right away to a mannequin at any point. But her next journey will be haircutting while now taking models to highlight and blow dry and all that fun stuff. And
Excellent.
that's pretty much where we are at
Excuse me.
currently with the education plan. The one-on-one technically is, like I said, the next step for us coming out of after the beginning of April. And that'll be fun too, because I know who needs to work with what. So it'll be fun to do that. And a lot of people will probably come into some of Madison's haircutting because they have some growth to do there too. And they'll take different things out of that class, even if they've already taken it, that they couldn't even absorb last year. So always good to help people get even that much better, even if they're doing a great job.
Having an apprentice in your salon, if your state allows it, I know it's work for you, but it is a way for you to constantly offer education. Like there's something going on almost
Mhm.
every day at our salon where anybody's welcomed.
Yeah.
And the stylists and barbers and whoever that really want to get ahead and really want to do well will, like you said, they'll pick up new stuff because say you've been cutting hair for 3 to 6 years or whatever, 5 years. There's always something you can pick up. There's
Mhm.
always a basic. We talked about the basics, doing the
Mhm.
uncommon or the common stuff uncommonly well, like chase that virtuosity. But it's important to like walk the walk,
Yeah.
and to do the things that you're saying that you do. Like we talk a lot about education, but we do a lot of education.
Yeah.
So that's why it's one of our core values. It's not just education's important to us because we do hair and continuing education. I know some states you have to get credits every year and
Mhm.
whatever. We don't have to do that. And a
No.
lot of times when I would talk to stylists, like maybe during an interview process or just in general, and it's like, not really doing education. You took some PK classes and maybe a blonding class or something online, but there's a time and place. Again, I'm not knocking it, but I think getting in with your team and just learning together that's the way to go.
Yeah, and I think there's another part, like we talk all the time for education, there's the demo part. You can watch someone do something. You could watch me do something and I'll make it look very easy. And then when you go to do it, you're like, why can I not get that? Well, I've been doing hair for a long time and the things I teach, I've been teaching for a long time. So I should make it look easy in that point. And I think the next step from that is applying it. So I love a class where I'm doing a demo and then they're actually now doing the work on a mannequin or on a model. I don't care which one. But then there's also the part which what we've created with the apprenticeship is that you're explaining why you're doing stuff to the apprentice. You're helping her grow. And now when you can start to talk about what you're doing and explain how you're doing it, you're understanding it in a whole different way and you're helping somebody grow. So there's it kind of goes full circle there. And since we're always having an apprentice, we're on our third one, like pretty much one after another. I have one. Even the staff itself, like they get excited to help them and they know the challenges they went through and they can relate differently to Madison than even I can. And it helps her grow as a person and her grow with a lot of confidence. It's always too a breath of fresh air. It is a hiring process to make sure we find the right person. The team, when it's just neat to have new blood in there, a new perspective. Madison being young and people feel like they're taking her under a wing and they're helping her grow. And that helps with the culture in the salon too. It's really quite fantastic, the whole process of it. But it's a process. It's a lot. You got to have a plan. You have to have an education plan. And now you're responsible for somebody to get to the point where they're going to take a test. Those are all things you need to be able to lay out and really make sure you're giving them a strong foundation.
You also taught a one-on-one class
I
last week.
did. For the
Talk
second
about
time in my
that.
career, I was hired to work independently with somebody. This one was cool because she
Oh, you
saw
get to write independent educator now on your
I
Instagram.
can. Independent educator.
Global independent
That's
educator.
wonderful. She had seen one
Awesome.
of my clients out and about, and she just had asked me, we were at like a basketball game for our kids, like, hey, I saw so-and-so's hair, really loved it. Like, I'd love for you to show me the technique you use with that. And I was like, I would love to, just let me know. So we worked together for about 3 hours. And again, I did a demo on one side to show her how I foiled that client's hair. And then she repeated it. I showed her some other techniques that are things she's just not using that we're seeing trending a lot right now. So just showed her how to do that. She's like, oh my gosh, I can think of so many people I could use this on. I didn't know how to do that. And then we did something on the other side of the head that I just like to show for people to understand how to hold the hair and what they're doing in space with the hair. And then before I knew it, I got a text that night that she had done 2 of the techniques or all of the techniques on 2 different clients. She sent me pictures. So again, already applying it. It was such a win. And then she hired me right on the spot to do a haircutting class with her next month. So very exciting. And coming from a place where education, I never want to waste someone's time. And I always want to make sure I'm giving them something that they can truly apply when they go back to their salon. So this was a huge win. And knowing when we finished that she was like, can we just get something on the books right now for some hair cutting? I was like, wow, this is cool. I'm helping her. And it makes me a better person too. I'm always better at what I'm doing. It helps me when I go back behind the chair, be better at what I'm doing. So it was very fun.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's important to provide education that resonates and that you can use. Like the fact that she was able to use that immediately
Yeah.
speaks volumes about her and her willingness to try something new. And then about your education that you're putting up. Because I've been to some good ones and I've been to some bad ones where
Yeah.
you're like, you're just doing that to look cool.
Right.
Like you're not really like you're just changing the terminology on something that already exists.
Yeah.
Like that's not education. You're doing that for you, and that's okay too. We all got to fill our cup somehow.
I like to, like you said, when I take my training, I'm always taking stuff out of it that I learned when they told that stuff, right? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, that will help so much. And then those are the classes I always pick from to teach because it resonated with me. So if it resonates with me, it's got to resonate with somebody else. But I truly want to give them stuff that can make their days easier and even fuel their creativity in a different way. And it's fun, really fun and rewarding for me
Gotcha.
too.
Yeah, definitely. Super cool. All right. I think that's it. That's
Okay.
good. We rambled for like 35 minutes here.
Great.
All right. We'll talk to everyone next week, right?
Join the newsletter. You guys will love it. Free
Get on the
information.
newsletter.
What?
I just checked and it says our newsletter or something like
Okay,
that.
cool.
And
Makes it
then, at least on Apple. So I'll check
cool.
Spotify. Maybe I'll change it to say sign up for our newsletter or something like that.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.